Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to discuss Liskov's substitution principle. And this is the principle that objects, certain objects of a certain type should be able to be swapped out for other objects. So in this case, we're talking about a child and parent when you talk about inheritance. Okay. When you have the child parent relationship, a child object should be able to be swapped out for a parent object. Why is this? Is because when you start dealing with large enterprise solutions, um, you run into errors and you run into bugs when your parameters and stuff are all over the place. You want to have some type of conformity. That means the same signature to plug in the maybe a child object should be the same as the same signature you'd use for the parent object. I'm going to give you an example. Again, we're going to go back to the example of the discount car price generator, right? Now, I'm not going to get into all of the nuts and bolts of the calculation, right? But what I want to do is show you the code. We have our content view. I'm going to pause this while this thing. No, I'm not, because it's building. But it is taking a long time to build. Oh my God. There we go. Okay, so we have this. We have our MSRP and our blue book value. And then we have our inventory level, right? And so in case you don't know, this is just FYI. Your MSRP is your suggested retail price. What the retail price should be on the lot when it's new, right? Blue book value is when you take into account all the other stuff that's going on with it, right? Its age, how many miles you put on, whether you do paint job, smoking in the car, things to that effect. Anything that can decrease its value is kind of taken into account with the blue book value. MSRP, usually newer cars. MSRP, usually higher. Blue book value, usually lower because it takes into account everything that can devalue. That's just FYI. Okay. We're going to go here to our calculator, our car price generator object, right? And so we have this right here, car price generator. And this is the parent class, right? And so it has MSRP, blue value, inventory level. We have all our properties and we set default values, so there's no constructor. And this is just for tutorial sake. This isn't how necessarily you would do it completely in the real world. So yeah. All right. So you have your regular car price generator. And now if you notice, you inherit from this, right? You have your discounted car price, which is a child of the generated car price. Your premium car price was a child of your generated car price. And I really don't really feel like getting into showing a practical example except in this. I'm going to go back here to our view. And as you know, when we get into MVVM, you're not going to put your implementation in your view. You're going to put it in your view model. But again, this is for demonstration purposes only. In our view right here, I have a discounted car price generator, right? So if something had to happen and I had to implement something else, maybe the premium, what other ones that I have? The premium car price generator, I could do that, right? And you notice because why? Because it's looking for the same parameters, right? Premium car price generator. Okay, and I build, and there are no errors. I can go to the power price generator, right? And again, I build, and there are no errors. Why? Because it adheres to Liskov's principle, right? The exact same signature. You should be able to plug in the children the same way you do the parent. So that's an example of adhering to Liskov's substitution principle. But let's go into something else that I want to discuss. And that is the implementation of protocols, right? This is one of the reasons why protocols are important, right? Protocols, if you don't want to use classes, you don't want to use polymorphism or inheritance, protocols force conformity so that when you create an object and it conforms to the protocol, it can always be plugged in and used where necessary. So yes, not only does having a child that conform to that can be treated like the parent conform to Liskov substitution principle, but so does protocols and objects that implement protocols. And when they're swapped out, that's conforming to Liskov substitution principle as well. If you're confused about maybe some of the implementation with regard to how swapping out the child for the parent works, or if you're confused about my example because it was very quick, I have a link to the GitHub and the repository. You can just go there. I'm going to show you. You can just go there and click on the link and clone it to your machine. If you don't know how to clone to your machine in GitHub, I have a tutorial that shows how to do it. Go to my channel and search downloading in GitHub. I have several YouTube tutorials that teach you probably everything you need to know about using GitHub. You can clone, you can create remote repositories, create local repositories, Git commands. You can do it through the terminal, through Xcode, maintaining your access token. I have all of that. So yeah, if you want to look at this some more, go ahead. There's a link in the description. Download the project or clone it to your machine. And yeah, on to the next. There's a lot to cover.